The world felt like it tilted the moment Ethan Cole stepped inside the iron gates of the Ashford estate. The mansion stood like a silent mountain made of glass and stone, glittering under the rising sun, yet something in Ethan's chest tightened with a heaviness he couldn't explain. He had never walked on marble floors before, never smelled air sprayed with expensive lavender diffusers, never seen chandeliers glow like captured stars. He had come only to fix a leaking water line in the West Wing, just another small job that would help him buy groceries for his 7-year-old daughter, Lily. But as he stepped deeper into the mansion, he felt the strange sensation that he was walking into a chapter of his life he didn't know existed. And in the grand hall, when his eyes landed on a framed photograph on the wall, of his late wife, Ava, smiling brighter than she had in the last years of her life, his breath shattered. Before the story continues, viewers, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of unexpected truths, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And tell us in the comments where you're watching from. Your support means the world. Ethan froze, unable to blink. Ava's picture wasn't small or tucked in a corner. It was huge, gilded, carefully placed like a treasure. She stood on a hill, wind in her hair, eyes bright with dreams she had never dared to tell him. The caption under the frame read, "A dreamer who changed destinies." Ethan had never seen this photo before in his life. A tremor ran through him, not of anger yet, but confusion so deep it almost felt like fear. He remembered the day he lost her. Rain had fallen in merciless sheets, the kind of storm that blurred the world. Ava had left home that morning for a volunteering trip, but the accident stole her before Ethan could reach the hospital. The doctors said it was instant. He had never received closure. No final words, no final explanation, nothing but Lily's tiny hand squeezing his as they cried together. Now seeing her picture in the mansion of Alexander Ashford, the billionaire philanthropist whose name appeared on newspapers, charity events, hospitals, felt like being struck by lightning from sky to soul. Ethan took a step back, his heart pounding like it wanted to break free. Why was Ava here? How did Alexander know her? Why was her picture honored like she meant something monumental? As he stood there trembling, Alexander Ashford himself entered the hall. Tall, commanding, with a calmness that surrounded him like armor, Alexander noticed the direction of Ethan's gaze and froze for a heartbeat. Almost imperceptibly, a shadow of pain crossed his face. Ethan didn't wait. The words tumbled out of him, heavy and raw. "Why is my wife's photo in your mansion?" For a moment, silence wrapped around them, thick, breathless, echoing. Alexander closed his eyes slowly, as though bracing himself against a memory he had long locked away. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't defend himself. He simply asked Ethan to follow him. Down a long hallway, through a private library, into a sunlit room overlooking a quiet garden. And there, Alexander revealed a truth that made Ethan's knees weaken. Ava had been part of an anonymous scholarship program run by the Ashford Foundation when she was younger, a program Alexander himself had created. Ava had been brilliant, kind, fiercely determined to help people. She had written letters to the foundation, letters that Alexander still kept, letters describing her dreams, her struggles, her gratitude. Alexander had quietly mentored her from afar, following her journey without ever revealing his identity. She had inspired him during one of the darkest periods of his life when he had nearly given up everything. But he had never met her, only read her words, witnessed her growth, and admired her strength. When she died, the news reached him through a charity group she had volunteered for. It had devastated him. He had commissioned the portrait in her memory, placing it in the mansion as a reminder that goodness still existed, even in a world full of greed and loss. Ethan felt a storm rise inside him. He had never known this side of Ava, not because she hid it, but because life had drowned them in bills, responsibilities, and survival. He suddenly realized how big her heart truly was, how she had quietly carried the dreams of helping others even when she was struggling in her own life. Alexander then walked to a drawer, opened it, and handed Ethan a sealed envelope, Ava's last letter, one she had written to the foundation just days before she died. The letter shook in Ethan's hands as he read Ava's handwriting. She spoke of Ethan, of Lily, of the hope she carried for their future. She wrote about wanting to start a small community center, to help families like theirs, to build something meaningful. But the final lines shattered Ethan completely. Ava had expressed fear. Fear that she might not have enough time. She had been feeling unwell but hadn't told Ethan because she didn't want him to worry. She had written, "If anything ever happens to me, please don't let Ethan and Lily be alone. Please make sure they know they deserve the world." Ethan broke down. All the years of grief, loneliness, exhaustion, everything caved in as he tried to breathe through the pain of truths he never knew he needed. Alexander placed a hand on Ethan's shoulder, steady and sincere. He told him that Ava's dreams didn't have to die with her. The Ashford Foundation would help him build the community center, fund Lily's education, support Ethan until he could stand on his own again. Not as charity, but as a promise, to honor Ava's legacy. As days turned into months, Ethan found his life changing faster than he could comprehend. He worked with the foundation, poured his heart into the community center, turning it into a beacon for struggling families. Lily blossomed in the new environment, happy, confident, dreaming big like her mother. Alexander visited often, not as a billionaire, but as a friend who carried Ava's memory with deep respect. And one day, during the opening ceremony of the Ava Cole Community Haven, Ethan stood before a crowd of families, volunteers, and supporters. As he looked at the sign bearing his wife's name, he felt something he hadn't felt in years: peace. He realized Ava had always believed in hope, even when life didn't make sense. And through that hope, she had connected two men who might have otherwise remained strangers. Before we reach the final moment of this story, viewers, if this journey touched your heart, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Your engagement helps stories like this reach more souls who need them. Ethan placed a white flower at the foot of the center's entrance and whispered a quiet thank you, to the woman who changed lives even after her death, and to the billionaire who honored her by turning grief into purpose. And now, dear viewers, tell us in the comments, what would you do if you discovered a hidden chapter from your loved one's life? Sometimes the unbelievable isn't magic, it's love that continues in ways we never expect.